Hello, welcome to another episode of the talk show with Biodun Tonight. I am your host, Biodun Bakari. It is my pleasure to have Franca from the other side. Hello, Franca, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening to you. How is everybody over there tonight? Good to have you on the show. And it's my pleasure
My
to
pleasure.
be seeing you tonight again. Can you
Thank you
go
very
ahead
much.
to
It's my
introduce
pleasure.
yourself to the viewers?
My name is Nietzsche Franka Abuzi from Kaduna State. I'm a writer. I'm the author of Abandoned, a play. It's my pleasure being with you tonight.
Okay, welcome to the show. Briefly on the show tonight,
Thank you.
we shall both be discussing on parenting and youth upkeep and child upbringing from the youth perspective. I hope you're prepared for that.
Sure.
Okay.
Always.
So I would like our viewers to sit back, watch, learn from what we're gonna say, and please subscribe to our channel, like our page, and follow. You can also make your comments and share if you wish to. So let's begin the program on a quick one. Let's start with the parenting. What can you tell our viewers about parenting from your youth perspective?
Parenting is everything. Parenting is literally everything.
Okay.
Because if we want to have a good society, then it starts from parenting. If a child is brought up in the right way, then there will be good people in the society. So parenting is almost everything.
Good. Okay, so all right, and when it comes to discussing parenting as a youth and unmarried, people tend to see us as not ready or not up to the task. Is there any way you can defend a youth who is unmarried and speaking about parenting?
And still talks about parenting. Yeah. Actually, it has happened to me because most times when I go to talk in churches or in events and I begin to talk about parenting, I see some people getting up and leaving because they look at me and they're like, she's not married, she don't have a child, she doesn't have a child, so what right does she have to talk about parenting?
Wow.
But the truth is that from the child's perspective, like parenting is a two-way something. It has to do with the parent and the child. So as the parent has things to say about parenting, so do the child has so many things to say about parenting. If parenting goes wrong, then the child is being affected. So the child has so many things to say about parenting. Since it's a two-way thing, parenting cannot be fulfilled. It cannot take place without a child. So because the child is involved, the child also have a say.
All right, that's a good one anyway. So you're basically telling us that even as a youth, you can speak on parenting and
Sure.
you're worth listening to.
Well.
Oh, that's a good one. I see you focus your interest on child upbringing. Then what's your motivation for that?
Well, growing up, I grew up with this concern for child upbringing. I grew up having this interest to see that children are being brought properly. I grew up with this mindset of I want to fulfill my purpose of creation. But then I realized that without proper upbringing, without proper parenting, then so many children miss out of life. So that's my drive. I want to fulfill purpose, but then there's this obstacle that needs to be dealt with, which is parenting. If parenting goes well, fine, I will be able to achieve my purpose. But when parenting goes bad, then
Yeah, so you're saying it's not too late to start preparing for parenting rather.
yeah, it isn't too early. I actually started this parenting stuff when I was 10. I can boldly say I started preparing for marriage. I started preparing to be a good mother when I was 10, as early as that. So it's not too early. It's not too early to start preparing to be a good mother or a good father or a good parent. It's never early, because the earlier you start, the better one you will be. But then that's where most people get it wrong, because they wait until when they finally get married and have children, and then they will say, what do I need to know about parenting? What is this? What is that? But when you prepare yourself before then, when you become one, you see that you deposit your roles, your responsibility the way it should be. So it actually requires preparation, and that's what some people don't really understand.
Wow. All right, let me come in this angle. Parents and a child relationship. What do you say about that? What are relationships that are expected from the people or the society, the youth, and fellow parents are likely to be expecting from one another when it comes to raising a child? Is it that, from your perspective, when you give birth, you should be the only one to care for your child or your children, or it's a community stuff?
Yeah, the community, the environment, the society, everyone has a role to play in the life of a child, not just the parents. Because the child goes to school, that's to say the teachers also have a role to play in the life of the child. So this parent-child relationship doesn't stop at home. It also goes to the school, the teacher-student relationship. So everybody in the society has a role to play in the life of the child. And talking about this parent-child relationship, some parents actually lack this parent-child relationship, hence endangering, putting their children into dangers because of lack of proper parenting. Well, some actually they don't know, it's out of ignorance, while some it's out of carelessness. So this parent-child relationship doesn't just stop at home. It also goes to the school, the church, all places, because as a child, how the child is being brought up matters. So if the child engages with wrong peer group, wrong friends, then the attitudes of the child is likely to change, even if the child is being brought up well at home. So training up a child is not one person task, and that's why, I'm the first child of my in my house, but I do tell my younger ones and people around that I am also a parent, because I have two younger ones to take care of.
That you have to look after.
Sir?
I mean, younger ones that you have to look after.
Yeah, I have two younger ones, to take care of, to look after. So I am also a parent, because training a child is not just the parent tax. No, it's everybody tax. The government, the society, environment, church, all.
Wow, that's good to hear. And when it comes to children, they felt while growing up to a certain age, they need some privacy. What do you say about that? Do you think there is any correlation between growing up and you trying to have a privacy from your parents?
Privacy.
Yeah. And do you want to relate privacy and secrecy as the same thing, or is there any separation for them?
The relationship between parent and child doesn't it's not, it doesn't stay at just being strong. It also expands to being flexible. Like the way a parent would treat a child of 3 years isn't the same way the parent would treat a teenager.
Okay.
So apart from parent-child relationship being strong, it also needs to be flexible. In one of my videos, I spoke about giving freedom to children. Now, I don't support that.
Oh.
A child, I don't support giving freedom to children. No.
Please, when we're talking about children, we're not talking about the little ones, I think. Or do you want to major your discussion on the young ones, probably the teenagers?
Okay. Yeah, let me explain it. You know, from 1 to 12, we can classify them as children.
Okay.
Now, their upbringing, it's quite different from those teenagers, that's from 13 to 19. Their upbringing is quite different. And then from 1 to 12, a parent's parenting style ought to change. And that's where flexibility comes in. Parenting style has to change. Because from 1 to 12, that's the right stage for any parent to inculcate into the child the right attitude.
Wow.
From 1 to 12. At that stage, the child is tender. So the child will get to understand, will get to learn, relearn, and unlearn.
Wow.
But then when the child becomes a teenager now, they are the set is it's a stage of stress and storm. Now when the child becomes a teenager, that's where the parents will start to see the outcome of the training they have given such child when the child was between 1 and 12. So if the parents actually trained up the child well, then it will reflect when the child becomes a teenager. A child who was brought up well is likely not to be easily influenced by peer pressure.
Okay.
But a child who was not brought up well from the onset, when such child becomes a teenager, it's likely for the child to misbehave and face some kind of challenges.
All right. So I know you've created some awareness on raising child and probably child and parent relationship. What are practical things that you teach people on your outreach?
Can you take the question again, please?
Oh, okay. I said on your outreach, I know you've carried out different outreaches on raising a child, parents and child relationship. What are practical steps that you've given to parents or that you've given to a child or children as they grow up or as they've been raised?
To strengthen the parent-child relationship.
Yeah.
Now, before that, I want to talk about the type of parenting. Now, the type of parenting is everything that it determines if the child is good or the child is brought up wrongly. Okay, for instance, the authoritative parenting style.
Okay.
I think to me, I feel that's the best parenting style for every parent, because the parents are strict. Yes, they set rules, but then they consider the emotions and the feelings and the needs of the children. So such children of parents who are authoritative, when they grow up, they tend to have confidence in themselves. They tend to be creative because their parents gave them their parents respected or respect their feelings and needs. Okay, unlike the neglectful parenting style, those ones, they don't care whether the child does good, the child is bad, the child goes to school or not. They focus mostly on their business, their work, their job, and then they leave the child to sort him or herself out. So I feel the type of parenting is what determines if the child comes out good or bad. So whenever I talk on parenting or I talk to parents regarding parenting, I emphasize they carefully check around, because some parents engage in parenting styles that they don't even know. They don't know that, okay, this is the parenting style I'm actually working with. They don't know. So I try to let them know that, okay, these are the types of parenting styles, and sometimes you can actually be using the bad one, the worst one, you don't even know. So you have to be careful and mindful of your day-to-day activities. Okay, now talking about the authoritarian parenting style, that's the worst, because the children brought up by these parents grow up to be timid. They grow up because their feelings are not respected, their needs are not even cared of. The parents, the way the parents bring them up, it's the parents' way or the highway. If the children are not doing the parents' way, then it's a kind of they will be killed. So, like, I was actually speaking to someone, and she said, if I do this, my daddy will kill me. And she said it with all seriousness. I was speaking to someone, and she said, if I do this, my daddy will kill me. And she was serious. I was like, your daddy will really kill you. She said he will kill her. Now, this is not the type of parenting style a parent is supposed to use, where your child will not be free with you. Your child is scared of you. It's either your way or the highway. It's actually really a bad parenting style. So whenever I speak, wherever I go, whenever I get the chance to speak to parents, I tell them to carefully and mindfully note the kind of parenting style they're using. Are they neglecting their children? Are they being permissive? Are they so authoritative? Or do they consider their child's feelings and needs too? So those are the kind of things I try to make parents understand when it comes to parenting.
Okay, thank you. So it's very important that there's a cordial relationship between children and their parents,
and the child.
So that will that will better the relationship of child,
and also enable them to fulfill their purpose.
Okay, I know you run an NGO, so can you tell the viewers about it and how this has improved your community?
Well, Voiceful African Child Foundation is the name of the NGO, and basically we are out to strengthen parent-child relationship. Like growing up, especially here in Africa, like I hardly see a girl run to her father, hug him and say, "Daddy, I love you." It's rare, very, very rare. But then outside, some people do it, but it's rare, very rare.
And some people, while their father is coming in, they run away or they become timid.
They run away, they leave the sitting room.
Yes.
No,
and that shouldn't be, right?
I don't want to be. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Like when the father is coming back from work, okay, let's say the father is coming back by 2. The moment is 1:50 something. The children are back to their room. They don't even go close to him. No. So like I grew up and I realized it's like that in most families. So I decided to, okay, let me try, let me see if I can promote, if I can strengthen this parent-child relationship where a girl can sit freely with her mom and express her feelings, where the parent, without even the child talking, will understand, okay, this is what my daughter is passing through. And our second aim is to encourage youth to be useful. I really love youth who are useful, like they are youth and they are useful. It's also rare because so many youths today, sorry to say, but they are useless because they're not using the Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. So many youths are they have the strength. They have the strength. They can be creative, but then they are not. So many of them don't realize that this is the right time. This is the right time to sweat, so that when you get older, you will just sit and enjoy the sweat of your sweat. They don't realize that. So Voiceful African Child is out to first promote parent-child relationship, so that the parents will know that they have a big role to play in the life of the child.
Okay, please let me
If they
cut you
want,
there. Did you get any support from people as you run the NGO, or has people been encouraging you to do more of what you've been doing?
yeah, a lot. You know, in everything you will do, you have people that will support you and you have those that won't. But then a lot of people supported me and are still supporting me. Although when it started, actually, even myself, I didn't believe I could do it because I saw myself as a child. I started the NGO and the writing when I was 17. So I myself, I was not confident enough because I felt it was too big for me. How will I be talking about parenting when I'm not one? But then there were people who helped me out as I write. Even before I published my first book, whenever I...
Are you there? Okay, so to the viewers at home, this is Youth Upkeep, the second edition, and sub-team under it that we wish to discuss about the youth upkeep in relation to parenting and child upbringing. We actually want Franca to tell us more of what he does. When I met her, I saw her as an actor, as an author rather, and someone who runs an NGO to raise awareness for children with no voice, and basically to encourage parents who doesn't have proper relationship with their children. And I think this is very important in our society today. People need to be encouraged, people need to be strengthened, and people need to be supported in child raising. No wonder we find people today who get pregnant and after giving birth to a child, they find it difficult to raise them. And this is calling for attention. And this is what I think Franca was doing in Zaria and Abuja axis. And I think she has done a lot, which is calling more. It's calling for more. It's calling for more support from the south, from the east, and from the west. I think every one of us should rise to raising a child, not until you have one, not until you have one, not until when you become married and you started raising a child. I think the awareness starts now. When she was speaking, she spoke about starting to have the sensitivity of being a parent, even starting from 10 years old, because she has siblings coming behind her. So I think every one of us has this role to play in our church, in our community, and anywhere we find ourselves. So I wish she can join us again to continue on our discussion. Thank you for everyone that joined us today on this program. It is my pleasure to wish you the very best of your desire. We're going to try this show again some other time, and I would like to see you again. Thank you, and God bless you. I remain your host, Biodun Bakare. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our page, follow our page, comment on our posts, share, and we would like to see you again in our subsequent programs. Remain blessed.